So Sean had first approached me about doing a Fat Records documentary when we were at band practice. We had already been making some short films, and we had already done quite a few music videos. So it just kind of made sense for us to dive into a project that we felt really passionate about.
So I did some filming at Punk Rock Bowling, which was supposed to be my wife's vacation, but I turned it into a filming thing.
Had to go with the flow because a lot of decisions were already made without letting me know that he was thinking along those lines, and I was just like, okay. Oh, here, put this in your purse. It was a camera. Okay. All right, can you hold this? Okay. Just a lot of like, whatever, okay.
Right after I got back from Punk Rock Bowling, the company I was working for was flying in some producers for a project, and one of those guys just happened to be Ryan Green.
Getting Ryan Green was a huge turning point for us in this short film. We were moving outside of a fan perspective, and we were actually getting someone who was directly tied to Fat Records.
So I took the stuff from Punk Rock Bowling and Ryan Green and put together a quick little trailer that also asked for, pictures and stuff, and kind of, in a way, planted the flag that the movie was going to be made.
I never expected that our Fat Records short film was going to snowball into all of this.
Before I posted it publicly, I did send Fat Mike an email. I had obtained his email through some other means that I can only describe as kismet, and he sent me an email back saying, "Looks cool." So I took that as like a tacit endorsement of the project. Well, that was very wrong, but it gave me enough confidence to put it out and move forward. So
after receiving that email, we just started gaining momentum, and the crew just started getting bigger.
Then I got the call to, help out, with booking some stuff.
Chris had already been booking bands for many years, so it made natural sense for him to help us start booking interviews.
Yeah, I came on board whenever Sean was looking to get some advice on how to make a good movie. He'd seen the Descendants documentary that we shot, so he was just kind of interested to hear from our side what it was like to put together an independent film. I was a huge fan of Fat Records, especially the early years, and told him I would give him as much help as he needed, shoot interviews here and there, help him with the editing, introduce him to people he needed to meet, with the understanding that I would do whatever I could when I was available, as I had a lot of other stuff going on, so I really didn't even think that I'd be doing a ton.
So after we put out the first teaser, we got a big response, a lot of press, and a lot of activity. So I felt it might be warranted to hit Fat Mike up, because they were coming through Dallas, NoFX was, and see if he would do a small interview. And so I hit him up a couple times, he agreed to it, and we ended up getting the interview. And with that, once Mike was there, I felt like I had enough content to put together a pitch video for Indiegogo and really kind of see if we could get some money to go out to California to interview maybe some people at the Fat Wreck staff and kind of go to the Fat Wreck offices and warehouse. So after we got Fat Mike, our next step was to do the Indiegogo and ask for $7,500.
So we spent a long time putting the Indiegogo campaign together and putting all the videos and the strategy behind everything together. And at that point, it just kind of felt like we were all just a bunch of friends that were making this fun thing that we were gonna throw on the internet. And the day that it launched and that all came together and we saw that we were gonna get the support from the Fat Records community, that's the day that it kind of turned into a real thing, and I felt like we're making a movie.
After we got the interview with Mike and we put together a pitch video, we spent several months getting things ready to put together the Indiegogo, and in May we launched, and within 24 hours we hit our goal. Within 3 days we had hit about $10,000, and all being said, we hit around 30,000, and at that point it became, we knew that we were going to do a much bigger project.
That was a moment that I knew that this was going to be bigger than something I had initially thought.
When people started responding and were excited about it, it was kind of the tipping point first. Everybody was kind of, they weren't jumping all in, and then all of a sudden when people started, I'm very interested. I want to check out what this is about, and we're willing to sit down with us and do that. That was probably the moment when our interview list, went from nothing to, multiple sheets.
The Indiegogo also, it spurned a lot of press and gave us even bigger exposure and opened up a lot more interviews. So after the Indiegogo, a lot more people were willing to talk to us because of Mike being a part of the project, of course. But our biggest challenge was getting Aaron.
Yeah, getting Aaron's interview is key.
On the success of the Indiegogo, we set up the interviews out in California, an interview to go to California and get an interview with Aaron and a few different people out there. So we had the money to fly everyone out and several producers and camera people to do our first trip out there.
We basically set up all these interviews, and we set them up around the fact that we were going to be able to sit down and interview Aaron, finally.
The project had grown to a certain level where they felt it would be weird if she wasn't part of it. So,
and it took some time. It took some time for us to get them to commit to a date. So the tickets were bought, the rentals were already rented, and we were planning on going out. So we set up all these interviews.
Day before we're about to leave, I get an email from the lovely Vanessa that Aaron is not going to be in town that weekend.
That initially had thrown us back a bit, but we had booked so many other interviews around Aaron that the California trip was still a go. And we had so many things going on that Chris had to stay back in Dallas and take care of a lot of stuff.
And I was doing some stuff in Dallas. We had the Vandals come through, and the Elm Street Tattoo Festival was going on, and Warped Tour was actually in Dallas, so we had another unit over there. And so at one point I was taking phone calls from California while I'm standing outside, gonna have to go into this interview, and then I'm trying to juggle that around to where we can get it tomorrow, or maybe the day after that, or maybe the day before, or hey, can y'all stay an extra day because they can't do this interview today and we have to move it. And so I mean that whole scheduling, that stuff got pretty frustrating.
That trip was amazing. It was really intense. We did a lot of interviews, and it was very stressful for some. And I think that's where I first started seeing the rift between me and Jonathan starting to occur.
Yeah, the trip that we ended up taking to California off that initial Indiegogo money, it was like 7 dudes in one hotel room in a van. I mean, it sounds horrible, and it was horrible, but it was a lot of fun.
The physical stress of doing all the interviews and traveling and setting up, and also the added stress of having to kind of direct someone else's movie and or at least feel that way. I think that was had a big impact on where me and Jonathan's professional relationship would go.
But it was really when Johnny left the project that my role became much more central.
At about a midpoint of the movie, Jonathan Finley, who was originally supposed to edit the movie, we had a little bit of a falling out professionally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of the team really had a good idea of what happened. I think me and Sean kept our frustrations with each other pretty within ourselves, and then one day the team just got an email that I wasn't working on the movie anymore.
We had a fundamental disagreement. I can be hard to work with in a lot of ways. I'm pretty scatterbrained, and I have a lot of energy, and I sometimes forget that not everyone has the same level of energy that I have.
I really don't think there was ever one serious, like, knockdown, drag-out argument between me and Sean. It was just over time, we kind of picked at each other and had this big argument over the course of like 2 or 3 months.
We actually met at I think it was a bar or restaurant, and sat down, and he basically broke up with me and said that he didn't want to work with me professionally anymore, and laid out some reasons, and one of them was our trip out to California and how that had gone, and how I had I had been leaning on him and Justin too hard and not really taking control of my movie.
I think the basis for the argument that happened between me and Sean, that long drawn out one that just ultimately ended in me leaving the film, had a lot to do with the fact that Sean didn't want to listen to the advice that I wanted to give him, which, from a director's standpoint, from his standpoint, on one hand, I can understand that. I'm a director, and, you want to keep your vision going the way that you want it to go, but the advice I was giving Sean was how to do that, how to keep his vision going without, getting lost in the million different ways that he was being pulled. And it was it's hard to explain, but I think ultimately it was the best decision for both of us.
And by him doing that was actually just an amazing thing. I mean, at the time, it hurt, but by him stepping away in that way, it really forced me to take control of the movie and make the movie that I wanted to make. And really, I think the movie would have been something very different if we wouldn't have had that conversation. And I'm very proud of the film we put together, and I'm proud of the work that we did together, and that I'm proud to have his name on the movie. But there's no real but there. I'm proud to have his name on the movie.
It was really interesting after I left the project to follow on social media and watch what was happening, and watch the movie be finished. I went from being an integral part of the movie being made and being a part of what everybody else was watching, to joining the group of people that was watching it happen. And that was an interesting transition, and it was, there was some anxiety that I had watching it, just, my name's gonna be connected to this, and I want my name connected to this, and I want it to do well.
I think overall it was really good for the movie. I think it was good for our relationship as friends. We're friends now. I have a lot of respect for him and the work that he does, and I'm really proud of where his career's going. And at the end of the day, I learned a lot from Jonathan. So because we missed Aaron the first time, we set up a second trip to California. And because we had not budgeted for a second trip to California, we had to make it as lean as possible. So we took only three of us. We took our intern, Kale Potts, who did an amazing job with us, and it was a lot of fun to be with. And is also just someone who is down to just hit it and go hard in the paint.
We knew that those pieces that we missed on the first trip, we needed to get on the second trip.
We zigzagged the state, essentially. I went and essentially drove 10 hours to meet up with Bad Cop to get some footage with them, and then drove another 10 hours to Sacramento so we could get a different interview the next day.
It was a crazy amount of driving. It was probably twice as much filming, and it was just go, 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 go.
We did trips where we were literally sleeping in a hotel for 3 hours, and it was probably the most enjoyable part of making the movie for me.
And it was like we had to be in, San Bernardino this day. You had to be in Santa Cruz this day. We had to be in San Francisco this day. LA, LA after that, there was a what's the word I'm looking for? Logistics to it that we had to try to stick to. And there was a lot of things that would happen I stayed back from that California trip.
Everyone had the same level of enthusiasm and passion for it, and kind of, even though it was a lot of hard work, it was something that we were doing that was just amazing.
How ready are you to die for an ideal? What's the connection?
When the film first became an idea, Sean's first stop was punk rock bowling.
Before I went out, I was trying to get some press credentials. And so I sent them an email kind of explaining what the project was and who I was. And I get an email back within like 2 minutes of sending the email. It says, we do not allow filming at Punk Rock Bowling. So I already had my tickets and rented the camera, so I went and did it anyway.
So the next year, I asked Sean, hey, do we want to go to Punk Rock Bowling and get some more footage? We could set up, so-and-so's playing, we'll get some interviews. And he said, yeah, set it up.
We had been talking with their Twitter account. They're like, yeah, they'd love to. So once we got in touch with them, Chris sent the teaser trailer.
So I sent an email to, it was either Mark or Sean Stern, and asking them, hey, we're making this film. I don't know if you've seen the teaser yet, but we came out there and we shot some footage last year, and we want to come back this year and shoot some more footage. And here's our teaser with the footage from last year in it.
And it had a couple clips from Punk Rock Bowling, not a lot, but a few things.
And I get this email back I don't remember if it was Mark or Sean or both of them, but I get this email back and it was,
we don't know you. I've never heard of this project.
Who the fuck are you?
Fat Records never told us this is going on. Does Fat Mike know you're doing this?
I told you could not film here last year, so we were actually rejected to film there the first year. And when I asked Sean, should I schedule it for this year, he failed to tell me, oh, by the way, they said no last year. Because if he would have told me that, I would have left that out of the email. So basically, they said no.
So yeah, I think Chris got the brunt of that, not knowing that had been the case. So he blindly, I didn't think it was good. I didn't think about it either. He blindly sent him the email, and and got back a very Sean Stern email, a sternly worded email. Before our trip to California, we made a trip out to Las Vegas for the second Punk Rock Bowling to do some filming.
And just randomly, we, found out that Fat Mike was at this same show that we were at, and he connected with us, and he was like, hey, the fuck are you doing? Like, I've seen this thing online. I don't know what this is. Like, I'm done with this show, get in my van. We're gonna go back to my party house.
When we were there, I think this is the moment that Mike wanted to kind of get an idea who I was and what I was about, and I think was testing me a little bit.
And we sat around on his back porch with him and his assistant and his girlfriend for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then he disappeared. And me and Sean, we just kind of like sat and kept the conversation going with the people that were there. And all of a sudden, that Mike comes back out, and he's in like bondage lingerie and high heels.
When we were there, he said, we have a rule here. We're gonna get in the pool, and I want to talk to you, but the rule is that if you get in the pool, you have to wear these high heel stilettos.
And I said no. I was like, dude, thank you, but that's not really my game. But of course, Sean immediately, abided.
And so I said, fuck it, let's do this. And I had my Propaganda shirt on. I was in my boxers wearing high heel stilettos, and got into the pool with Mike, and we talked about very personal things, and I think I got to know him, and I think he got to see where I was at, and
have this really candid conversation about, Fat Mike telling us, like, this isn't gonna work, I'm not interesting. I'm not like, you're not gonna make a good movie about me. You need to just go ahead and stop what you're doing right now.
After that, he said, I'm cool with you doing this project. It's gonna be boring. I don't think there's a lot of story there, but I'm dispassionately disinterested. But he said, you're cool to do it. And you can use the songs, Fat Records songs should be in it.
And then some other people showed up. There was some sort of orgy about to happen, and Mike kicked us out.
I'm thinking all alone, treading new waters.
6 years ago, I attended a film festival for the first time with my wife, and that was the Dallas International Film Festival. And it was, I think I saw 5 films. And 6 years later, we got to premiere a Fat Rec at the Dallas International Film Festival.
This is the official world premiere. We had done some test screenings before, but this was the first time that it was complete. And by complete, I mean Sean, it was a period where Sean was done with it.
Last year, I actually volunteered and was an usher there as well. And the year before that, I had introduced a movie for a company that I was working for and got to present. So I had been at several different layers of the festival and met all the people there and made some friendships. So to be able to premiere there was just on so many levels, just a rewarding experience. Hometown hero, kid does great, backyard barbecue. I don't know what that means.
It was pretty special because a lot of our friends and family were there, and that was one of the only screenings where we got to do that, because all the other ones are all over the place.
Being able to premiere here was really special, and validating in a lot of ways, because I'm such a new filmmaker. To be accepted into the kind of film community here was a big thing for me.
One of the reasons I love film is watching people watch it and seeing their reactions. And so that was a really awesome moment in DIF because I got to see my friends, strangers, watch this film and react in the way that I had hoped for them to react, and made me really, really proud of Sean and everyone who had a hand in it.
So it was pretty important, but I was pretty blown away by the feedback.
It was a gratifying feeling to finally be at DIF and doing the world premiere in front of our family and friends, and this movie that we had been working on for 3 years now was finally being shown on the big screen. There were too many emotions and too many thoughts floating in my head. I couldn't even describe it.
I think somebody said it was 6 years from seat to screen. We were, so that was just, the fact that to be able to do that was an amazing thing. But to be in any film festival at all was just an amazing achievement. During the making of this movie, I had a daughter. A lot of strain on my marriage and our financial situation. And due to not only the financial side of the commitment that it takes to make a movie this size, $30,000 is a lot of money in the beginning. But this movie is much more expensive than that. And all that additional debt has been taken on by me and my wife.
I get stressed out about this project. I have a lot of anxiety about how it's going to affect my family, how it's going to affect our financial future.
Yeah, it took a long time to get this done. I think in the time that we made this film, I shot probably 10 music videos, a bunch of commercials, edited some other stuff. You just fit it in where you can.
It was insane someone's trying to juggle the day-to-day of our lives and go all in on this passion project.
Yeah, it's extremely challenging in almost every way. I mean, not to mention I've had a medical, it exacerbated a medical condition,
This film, meant so much to us, but it took a lot to just get out.
In December, we were doing an editing session. I was editing for about 3 months. I was editing till around, 7 or 6 to 7 in the morning for weeks at a time, and I was not sitting properly, and I ended up with a herniated disc. My whole arm went numb. I couldn't even sit at the computer for more than 20 minutes, and I took some extra strength Tylenol, and it caused I found out I have irritable bowel syndrome during the time of making this movie.
Good posture is important.
And I essentially couldn't even keep down water, and I almost had to go to the hospital because I was starting to become dehydrated and couldn't keep down food or water. And it was pretty gnarly.
We had to make a lot of sacrifices to make this film, personal, financial, and I don't have a doubt in my mind that any of us would hesitate to do it all